Real Talk is proudly sponsored by Y-Wave P20 Pro and MTN.
Each week for 10 weeks, we're giving away the latest Y-Wave P20 Pro and 10 gigabytes once-off MTN data to 10 amazing storytellers. All you have to do is share your special moments with us. Follow at YWaveZA and at MTNZA and tag us with hashtag YWaveP20 and hashtag RealTalkMoments. We want to see and hear your stories and create lasting connections across the country. Each week there's a different theme, so keep checking our social pages for details and you could be a winner.
From this to this, many of his fans watched as every inch fell away. Mika Stefano was always comfortable in his own skin, going about his life normally as a celebrity socialite and entertainment commentator, until he was forced to make that necessary lifestyle change. Well, he's here tonight to share his journey to health and fitness with us, and we'll also hear some more amazing successful weight loss stories from my guests tonight who decided to put themselves first. Good evening and welcome to Real Talk here on SABC3. The stage is yours. I'm your host, Azania Mosaka. After countless doctor's visits and a week in hospital, Mika Stefano is healthier and fitter than he's ever been. He's also found his passion as a training fitness instructor, helping others reach their health and fitness goals with hashtag Mika made me sweat. Well, it's a pleasure to have him here on Real Talk. You're putting people through pain. Just that hashtag alone.
Just that pain. You're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. How are you?
I'm very good.
You look
at you.
gorgeous.
We
No,
should have had
you
you
look
walk
gorgeous.
in.
Did you want me to walk out?
So that we can see,
How
you
are
know.
you?
I'm very good.
I love your dress.
All in red, all
Lady
in
in
black.
red, yes.
So, as someone who used to work in the entertainment industry, did you ever feel pressure?
I
Especially
didn't.
regarding your weight?
No, I think I was very comfortable in my skin, who I was. I think it made a part of me. People knew me as that very over-the-top, colorful, crazily dressed person. And yeah, I was very comfortable in my skin. Many people said, Mika, lose weight, you should lose a little bit of weight.
Really?
And I just laughed them off. My mother was one of those who would constantly say, Mika, one helping is enough. And I was the one who was like, no, I'm comfortable in who I am.
So none of those comments ever stuck?
None of them. I think maybe also because I was that person who was always giving out these nasty comments. Yeah. So I kind of had this thick skin of like, okay, come bring it, bring those comments kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think maybe deep down inside there was a little bit of an awkward feeling of, okay, maybe I should actually lose a little bit of weight. But it was nothing that I actually faced. Up until I was actually coming back from Rio de Janeiro, customs stopped me. They're like, okay, there's something there. And I was like, what do you mean there's something there?
On your person?
On my person, because they went through my luggage, they went through everything, there was nothing there. So they took me to the hospital, still thinking that there's something there, a drug mule. Imagine me, a drug mule.
Headlines.
That's what I was thinking. So, and then they said, no, there's nothing like what they suspected, but they're kidney stones. And that's how I found out that I had kidney stones.
Is that how you discovered?
Luckily, it was a free examination, sorted that out. But yeah, that's how I found out I had kidney stones and decided, okay, now I need to get fit, I need to get healthy.
Were you immediately hospitalized?
A little process. No, I had to go through, I had to get a stent put in, which was a little while. And then it was quite a process of getting actually the kidney stones out. But then it was about now, okay, now I need to become healthy, become fit, become healthy, become fit. The weight loss was a bonus. That was like, oh wow, there's also that kind of thing.
Look at the new me.
And now I wish I went back to Rio because now I'm a little bit sexier.
All that time on the beach.
Hello.
Was it difficult getting started?
I think for me it was more the mind thing, putting my mind in it. And I think obviously the health scare played a huge role of, okay, now you need to actually put your mind into it and get behind it and actually get into the gym, get healthy, start eating correctly. I was drinking maybe 2-3 liters of Coke every day. So that was fizzy drinks, liters. Had one next to the bed and I would gulp it before I went to bed. So that was a little obsession. yeah, that I had to cut out, and then just finding a new obsession, which was gym, getting healthy, staying fit, and that's where I'm at right now.
When did the weight gain start? Can you trace it back to maybe a point in your teenage
Not
years?
even. I think in my teenage years, I just slowly started eating out, being comfortable in who I was. I went to an art school. Not that that's an excuse for not being active, but maybe that's where it started packing it on, kind of thing. Just being confident in who I was, and then it escalated once I was out of school, and yeah.
So here you are working out. You're shedding the weight. You can see the difference. So what kind of program were you on? What were you doing?
So the beginning was a lot of low carbs, my diet, for example.
So you changed to the
So I changed the diet. So first of all, no Coca-Cola, no eating out, no takeaways, trying to keep a clean diet. Also what I did, which I thought was weird, I would eat many meals a day. Literally every 2.5 hours I was eating. And people would say, oh, but Mccoy, you're eating more than we've ever seen you eat. And that speeded up my metabolism, which helped with the weight loss, which was a little secret. I started drinking water, which was a huge thing, drinking lots of water, which now I struggle with sometimes, because sometimes you're like, oh, can I have a Coke Zero, or can I have a fruit juice or something? But water, and then just exercising, regular exercising, going to the gym early in the morning. Yeah.
So it sounds a lot like for you it was that whole formula that we always hear about, that weight loss or healthy lifestyle is about 80% what you eat and 20% working out.
Definitely, definitely. I think I did do a lot of exercise, and that was noticed on my social media. I put it out there, me exercising.
We've been
all
watching
the time.
you.
And I think that was the important thing, that I wanted to share the journey. I didn't want it to be something that was just like, you've seen the before pictures, but now how are we here, kind of thing. So it was something that I shared, and I enjoyed sharing it because it allowed me to realize that I'm not the only person who's going through these things. Everyone has weight issues, everyone has body esteem issues, so it was a nice thing to actually realize, oh, other people are going through similar stuff, finding out what they do, what I do, how it's similar, how I could learn from them, and that's one of the big things. Whilst doing this whole process of losing weight, I fell in love with fitness.
To the point where you decided to be a fitness trainer.
Exactly. I was like, okay, well, this is nice.
Yeah?
But
what's so nice about it?
Well, it's nice because I have this theater background in terms of performing, and in terms of instructing, it's quite a performance. You'd have to put on a performance of instructing people what to do and how to do it and whatnot. So it still learns from stuff that I've done before. Also with my blog and my entertainment website, it was very proudly South African. And I don't think you can do a bicep curl proudly South African, but just with my classes, it's a very, very proudly South African, local music, and I try to keep it still very similar to what people may have known Mika as before. So yeah, I've tried to carry that through.
So you do that high intensity training, and looking at that hashtag, Mika made me sweat, it's like you are at a gym club. The gym's just been turned into a club.
Like a party,
It's like a party, exactly. But
so that's the cool thing.
You're getting healthier.
It's an hour workout, and you literally go in there. There's lights, there's music, and you don't even realize that you're working out. It's not like, oh, now I have to go to gym. I have to think about, oh, what I have to do. And someone's telling you what to do, and
because that's often an obstacle for a lot of people, that it just gets so boring.
It becomes the same old routine, or you download something offline and you may think it could work for you, but people don't realize everybody's body is different. So what may work for you may not work for me. So yeah.
So it's a whole lifestyle.
I think it's a whole lifestyle, and just putting your mind into it. And I think they say something along the lines of the first 21 days is
often the hardest, right?
The hardest. But as soon as you've past those 21 days and it becomes part of your habits, you start eating well, yeah, that's when it's slowly...
So what does your eating plan look like? Like, just take me through the day.
Well, it's funny, I posted up a picture recently online, and it's the second phase of my transformation. So I've lost the 30 kgs, and now I'm at the point of like, now I want to bulk up. I want to put on some muscle mass.
That bouncer body.
Yes. So it's about now eating more than I was. upping my carbs, higher proteins, more fats. So just changing the whole diet. So for a little while, whilst this happened, it was like, oh, the scale must be lighter, the scale must be lighter. And now I'm like, oh, please can the scale be heavier? Please can the scale be heavier? But yeah, so my diet consists of lots of proteins, high proteins, but still, I think it's a secret and I'd like to share, just eating more regularly. Many people think, oh, if you only eat one meal a day, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
If anything, you're going to gain weight. You should be eating regularly. That's why
yes, because you're saying to your body, slow down, this is what we're going to have, and then it slows down your metabolism. But when you eat more, it speeds up your metabolism.
And that's what you want.
This energy.
Exactly. So eating regularly is very important.
Yeah. So what else has it done for you? Because the benefit is not just physical. Where are the other benefits? Are you having a clearer mind, better focus? Where else?
I think one of the things, I was actually at this leadership conference for young girls, and one of the girls asked me the similar question. And I think to answer it, before Mickey Stefano, not that I was negative, in terms of my entertainment, kind of blogging, social fashion commentary, I would say something along the lines of, okay, girl, those shoes, they don't really work. And it would seem like it's negative. And I think now it's a little bit more positive in my outlook in terms of how I speak to people, how I try and encourage people. So maybe now I would say, I know you can do better. Those shoes are nice, but they can do a little bit better. So it's just like my outlook. So yes, there's a physical change, but also a mental change of just good vibes only, approaching life with GVOs and giving out good energies that you'll receive. And your shoes are fabulous.
My shoes are fabulous, just to let you know. Thank you so much, Mika.
Thank you.
So do keep up with that hashtag. Just to let you know, we're not live tonight and we can't take your calls and WhatsApp messages, but please share your personal weight loss success stories with us on our Twitter handle. It's at Real Talk on 3. You'll meet my next guest. She literally grabbed a second chance that she was given to change her life around, and she never looked back. You don't want to miss her weight loss success story next. Welcome back to Real Talk on SABC 3, where the stage is yours. Tonight, my guests have been sharing their successful weight loss journeys. Untitled Chapter was the life of the party. Well, everywhere she went, she'd make other people happy, and often at the expense of her health. And before she knew it, binge drinking, drug abuse, and junk food were a normal part of her daily life. Well, tonight, I have a very different, slimmer, and more vibrant woman sitting across from me. Untitled, welcome. Welcome to Real Talk.
Thank you for having me, madam.
What a journey. So let's go back. When did you first start noticing this unhealthy weight gain?
I think it must have started when it actually dawned on me the day that my daughter said to me that she's also getting EPJJ, which was weird.
How old was she then?
She was 3. So I had such a negative body image.
So this is what you would hear from you?
Yes. I'd be speaking so negatively about my body the whole time. I would speak ill of everything about myself. And while I was saying these things, she would be hearing me.
Yeah.
So one day I heard her literally mirroring it back to me.
Yeah.
Because children will mirror back.
And that's why the whole thing of modeling is so important.
Yeah.
What we say and what we do is what they pick up on. But often with this kind of thing, there are lots of other related issues at play.
Yeah.
Where do you think some of those sensitive areas were for you, those buttons that brought this about?
I mean, it's a long story. But just to be short, the first thing was that I didn't love myself.
Yeah.
I always depended on people. I depended on drugs, I depended on alcohol, I depended on everything else to make me feel good except for myself, because I genuinely did not love myself.
Yeah.
I did not like who I was. I didn't like where I was staying. I didn't like the relationship I was in. I didn't like the job I did. So I ended up using substances like alcohol, food, and drugs.
So you were numbing
to just numb the pain, because I didn't want to feel it. There's nothing as frustrating as having to take accountability for how you're feeling. So instead of dealing with the core problem, I would numb it.
Yeah.
And I did that consistently for 10 years. So before I knew it, I had literally become a very unhealthy, big, morbid, angry, aggressive, all of these negative traits, I was that person. And my daughter literally started mirroring it back to me. And that's when it hit me.
You know, a friend once said that this person is there whilst it is happening to them. So when you talk about those 10 years, you know, that's the comment that came to mind about this is progressive, it's day upon day, it compounds, and then there you are. But at least you had that breakthrough 10 years later, and you had that triple problem.
Yes.
The junk food,
yes,
the alcohol abuse, and the drug abuse to overcome. Did you do it all at once?
Yes. Constantly, consistently, all the time. So my morning would wake up, my morning would start with coffee, obviously laden with sugar, and drop off my son at school. On my way to work, I'd be cutting lines.
Cocaine?
Yes. You get to work, you binge eat, because you haven't eaten in a long time, because the previous night you were probably binging on cocaine again. So you're actually hungry. So I'm eating a huge, like half a chicken for breakfast. With like potato chips and I wasn't alone in this. I mean, obviously you have colleagues and friends and so on that
these cliques tend to form.
Yeah, you have a clique of, now we have a clique for eating. And you're eating all this type of food. By the time lunchtime comes, your dealer brings in your first gram. Because the lines you cut in the morning are from last night. Your first gram comes in at lunch. You're cutting, you're cutting. By the time our work is done at around 4 o'clock, you start drinking. And you go all the way into the night.
And the cycle starts all over again the next day.
All day. You wake up, you have a headache. You're lethargic. You just don't understand. You're tired.
You're hating yourself.
You're hating yourself. You're hating everything. You're hating everybody.
Yeah. But you were married for 14 years.
Yes, I was.
And how was the marriage dynamic feeding this as well?
He wasn't aware that I was an addict, a drug addict. He was aware of the drinking. He was aware of the binge eating. And I don't think it ever dawned on him that I had an addiction problem until I brought it up to say, I actually have a problem with addiction.
So he wasn't an enabler, because so often it's sometimes the closest people in our lives that help to enable
he was never
feeders and what we often hear about feeding.
No, he wasn't. But so when I got into that relationship and into that cycle, instead of dealing with the real issues within that union, I started numbing it. I was very good at numbing things. I grew up being very good at just numb things. Don't speak about things. Don't be confrontational. Don't bring up things that are uncomfortable and so on. I was very good at that. So I just numbed. And when I actually got off the drugs and I started realizing I don't want this, that's literally when the relationship fell apart.
Wow.
That is the crazy thing.
Because all of these truths had to come out.
They had to come out.
So how much did you weigh at that time?
I weighed about 107 kilograms. And I currently weigh 65.
Wow, that's amazing. And your journey started with the trainer saying, you know what, you need to cut out sugar, you need to eat better.
Yes.
Is that's what triggered it?
We literally started with don't take any sugar for a month, because he didn't start training me immediately. He said, would you be able to actually commit to this journey?
How hard was that? As in not taking sugar?
Sugar is very addictive. I don't think people understand how addictive sugar is. I don't think people understand how much sugar is in everything that we consume. They assume that it's just all about adding sugar into your coffee or your tea or in cakes. It's in peanut butter. It's in bread. It's everywhere. So once he said to me, stop taking sugar, I then started realizing how much sugar is in so many things that we consume on a daily basis. That was the hardest hurdle for me. Cutting out sugar completely. The second one was drinking water. We do not drink enough water. At that point in my life, I wasn't able to differentiate between hunger and thirst. So he then started telling me that every time you think you're hungry or you're feeling hungry, drink water first and then give it a while. And then assess if it was actually hunger or if it was thirst. And more often than not, you find out that you're actually thirsty.
I've never heard that one before. It's a great distinction, something to be aware of, bear in mind. And so you went on this journey, you embarked on this journey, started seeing the weight loss. Was there ever a time when you battled with it? Because weaning yourself off sugar, old habits, it's not easy because that thing which you knew is what brought comfort, or it's what you knew. And now this other side is presenting you challenges.
You need to make a commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
As the weight came off, I literally had to go for counseling, therapy, because here is this human being that I had been all my life, or throughout my adult life. And suddenly she is slipping away. She is literally melting away. Every week you are seeing her going away. But I didn't know who I was outside of that. I was always the loud Nontandla. I was always the flamboyant one who makes people laugh or who starts fights and so on. Outside of the bulk, I had no idea who I was. So I literally went and found and sought help and said, please help me find out who I am, because I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
And that then led into a spiritual journey, which is so strange for a lot of people when I say I didn't get into spirituality because I was seeking spirituality. I was losing weight, but I was losing me. Or that me.
That you, yes. I think of Iyanla Van Zandt as well, because she had to lay to rest the person that she had been for so long, the person who had to deal with the traumas that she had while growing up, and then put her to rest, bury her, and become Iyanla Van Zandt, literally going as far as adopting a new name.
And you need to forgive her.
Exactly.
Forgive that girl.
Exactly.
She was doing the best that she could.
Yeah, under the circumstances. So is that what inspired your book then? Because you've written a book, love the title, Letters to My Daughter.
I wrote Letters to My Daughter because firstly, it was the whole journey that I was going through. But the most important thing for me is that I feel that as mothers, a lot of times we don't impart onto our children lessons that we have learned. I'm not saying it's a blueprint. I'm just saying when your daughter understands that you went through a similar experience, or you understand what their struggle is, because you are of the same tribe, you're a woman.
So what lesson comes to mind right now? There are many, of course, that you impart in the book.
Yeah. Always stay true to yourself. It's gonna hurt. Being true to yourself is gonna hurt. Sometimes you're gonna have to walk away from things that you really, really love, and people that you really, really love and treasure. But you need to remain true to yourself at all times.
What a powerful note to end off our conversation on. Thank you, Nontandla.
Thank you for having me.
Remember that book title, it is Letters to My Daughter. And so after the break, I will chat to Roseanna Mccoy about how she lost 37 kilograms in her first year of transformation. Come back after the break. Welcome back to Real Talk on SABC 3. She's a wife raising 2 young children. And as a working mom, Roseanna Mccoy's transformation is breathtaking. How did she do it though? Well, she joins me to chat about this right now. I have to gush. I have to start off by gushing because you have an incredible body.
Thank you.
Those arms, those legs, I mean, yeah. Enough objectification. I'm sorry if I'm making you feel uncomfortable.
No, not at all.
So you used to weigh, what, 107 kilograms?
Yes, that was after my second born. Remember, when my son was born, he left with his own 3 kg. And I was left with my own 107 kg 4 months later.
Yes.
That was the start of my...
So that's your youngest?
Yes, my
youngest. So after 2 children, you'd put on all that weight?
Yes, because with between them, there's only 1 year, 5 months. So before I could even lose the other weight, the weight with the first one, I fall pregnant again, and then I had to again now lose double that weight. Yes.
So is it hard as a parent then, as a mom, to do this?
It was, okay, I can say like right now it's not hard anymore because I'm maintaining. But the start, the journey on its own, it was very hard. It was the most difficult thing I've ever had to endure. I'm not going to lie to you. Because there were times when I felt like I couldn't, or this was just one of those weird diets that we do every year and all these things. But as soon as I see the weight coming off, you know, I started looking good. I started seeing the older me, the younger me, you know, when I was in high school. That's when I started realizing that I can actually go further.
Yes.
You know,
so you started in January 2016. Was it a New Year's resolution?
Not really, because when I started, I knew that it's long overdue. I had to start somewhere. I knew that I had to start somewhere.
Was there a low point?
And then the lowest point was when I remember when my mother was there 4 months. Okay, I had an opportunity to stay with my mother. She was helping me with my youngest one.
Yes.
During my maternity leave. So at that time, immediately after we finished that for 4 months, she said to me, "There's something that I need to tell you. There's something that I need to talk to you about." And then I said, "What is it, Mama?" And then she said to me, I'm very proud of the woman that you have become. I'm very proud that you have a job, you are a wife, and you have kids. All those things that some people dream of, and you have all those. But for the past 4 months, I haven't seen you, the real Roseanna. Where is she? Yeah. The woman that I gave birth to, the young lady that was full of life, that had energy, that she could touch, whatever she could touch will turn into gold. What happened to her? Because if for some reason somebody told you that you need to suppress that lady or that child, I want her back. I don't care how other people feel about that Roseanna. I don't care if it's your marriage or whatever. But I'm saying that I want my daughter back.
Oh, that's brutal honesty.
And at that time I was like, Mama, where do I start? I know, but where do I start? How do I start?
So she could actually see you change.
She could see that this is not the Roseanna that I raised.
Yeah.
Because growing up, I was full of life. I had passion for everything, but all of a sudden, I think when I started working and I got married, all those things came out so fast. Like within 2 years, I had all those things. I overwhelmed myself. Instead of me thinking, maybe there's more I can do after I've studied, or maybe there's, I can, other things.
Yeah.
I just literally just thought, stop living. I started living for everybody, for the kids, for the marriage, for the family, for the society, what is expected of me, instead of what is that I want, or what is that Roseanna can do.
Yes.
So literally I just said, you know what, this is it. This is the end of the road. I've lived my life.
You've just given up?
Yes, I've lived my life, and now it's time to live, to help others or to live for others. If that is what's
just
expected.
resigned yourself to it. So you said that the start was very difficult.
Very.
Was it that waking up in the morning, putting on that gym gear, and
which I didn't even
yourself
have at the time? Remember, at 107, I never even laid my hands on one of those things. I didn't even have. I used an All-Star to start my journey, and it was just that thing where she says, "Okay, you know what? Can you please start this journey?
Just go,
and
even if it's just a few minutes.
This whole year, let's fix you. I will be with you. I'll stay with you for your whole year while you fix you. I will help you raise your kids." And then that to me was just a confirmation that, I don't care what everybody else says. And if my mother says she wants that Roseanna, I'm bringing her back. And I have got all the tools right now. As long as I have her words, I'm doing this.
You're doing this, but you did it with friends as well.
Yes,
the biggest loser challenge in your circle.
The first week I started my journey alone. I remember waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, went for my own normal jog. It was a run, but 2 minutes, you run, and then 1 minute you walk. I was crying, literally, like with tears, that there's no way I'll ever finish this, or even, whatever I'm doing is just a play. Then the first day was off. I started eating healthy. Like usually my mother, she's been quite, a healthy eater all her life. So she just said, "Join me, eat what I'm eating." So I started eating that horrible food of hers that she was eating. And then within a week, from 107, I literally went from 107 to 102. So you can imagine.
Within a week?
5 kg was down.
From walking? From
walking and that little jog. Then, and that was so amazing. Then I realized, no, there's more to this.
Because that's a motivator.
Yes,
when you start to see the difference, it's a motivator.
And then Lucky found me on Monday, the other week when I went to work, there was this lady who was discussing their resolution of weight loss and all these things. That's when we decided maybe let's do something. Let's
Oh, so that's how the big loser challenge came up. What was the reward? We all need an incentive in life. We
wanted something that would motivate us to go further. So we decided, okay, we were 4 of us. So whoever wins our biggest loser per month, each week will weigh in, and then the maximum will win 50 rand from each person. And then that 50 rands from each person should come as a motivation.
Yes, and just to be able to say, "Oh,
But by that time, for some reason, I took the challenge because I knew I was ready. I knew it was not even about them. It was not even about that money. But I said to myself, you know what? I'll use it to add to my gym membership.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So how do you maintain? Because now that we've gotten the start out of the way, because that's such an important aspect of it, for a lot of people, we struggle. We just can't bring ourselves to even start. And now that we've started, it's easy to think, okay, well, now I'm getting comfortable. You get lazy, you get complacent, and then you slip back to old habits. How do you maintain?
No, the thing is, this is one journey that you really just need an individual. You know, once you start, you don't stop. There is no stopping. Remember, if
Hey, Roseanna, I've started and stopped.
No. It's a lifestyle. You see, most people, they do what we call yo-yo diets. You can say, I'm going to a wedding in the next 3 weeks, and then say, I want to lose 2 kg. Then you go on those quick fixes.
Yeah.
Those are what most people are doing. But if you really, really want to put off weight forever, and for you to have a success story like this, you need to know the knowledge behind nutrition and the knowledge behind fitness. What is it?
So what do you do now? What do you do as part of your training regime?
Yo, I'm gruesome. I'm not going to lie to you.
You're gruesome.
Oh.
Hey, can't have.
Yo, I am beyond human nature. I'm not going to lie to you. It's something. It's like I didn't know I had all this within
This
me.
kind of strength.
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you do?
So I basically, cardio is part of it, which is I just go to class. Most of the time, I just go to any class there at the gym, cardio. But most of the time afterwards, I'm hitting the weightlifting section. I'm there with all those guys, and you literally just see me there, and I'm not even embarrassed about it because I read a lot about what I wanted to achieve, what I wanted my body to look like after that weight loss. The goal was to say I didn't want a boring body. After you've lost weight, you end up with that body that you look as if you are sick and you are still lazy about it and all that. But I wanted a body that people, even when they say she has lost weight, and people are like, which weight? Where was it? Yeah. So I wanted definitions. Also, something that I would always have
I'm looking at your arms.
Yes, I wanted something that also, I would always have a goal. So which means this will never end.
This is for life.
Yes, it's a lifestyle now. If I want more, I add more.
Are you doing things like Ironman?
Not really. It's
just working out.
Weightlifting. Like a bodybuilder kind of. I use their theories and their nutrition those things. And you follow their program. You follow what they're doing.
Can you train other people?
No, not really. No.
I was about to sign up. I was so about to sign up.
No, not really.
You look incredible.
Thank you very much.
Very good. I was about to sign up. I'd be your first client any day. Wow. Well, going from wearing teenage clothing items as a child and rapidly moving to wearing clothes from the adult section as a teenager was not too much fun at all. When we return, Mccoy will share his 38-kilogram weight loss success story with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Real Talk, and tonight we've been catching up with guests who have had successful weight loss stories. They've shed the kilos and they've successfully kept them off. Remember that you're welcome to participate and share your weight loss success stories with us on @RealTalk on 3. Thanks to the ketogenic diet, Mccoy went from 120 kilograms to 82 kilos, and he says he's never felt better. But I must say that Mccoy is a member of the team. And our team is incredibly proud of you, Mccoy. This transformation has been happening right before our eyes. So it's a little bit unusual to have someone who's part of the family sitting on this couch. Hey?
Yes, it is. It's weird.
Yeah.
Usually behind the camera, now
here you are telling your story.
It's like, ooh.
And you're part of the reason why we had to do this episode. So 38 kilograms.
Yeah.
You're quite emotional.
Yes, it's surreal. It feels like it's something I've been wanting all my life, and it's finally in my grasp, and I can finally do something about it. Yeah.
So this ketogenic diet, what is it all about?
Oh, so ketogenic is basically a low-carb, high-fat diet. So what happens is, as soon as your body doesn't have carbs to burn, it uses fat as a fuel source. So a normal person will be eating a lot of carbs, and what happens is your body produces two things. It produces insulin and glucose. And glucose is the easiest thing to burn in your body, and insulin is what carries the glucose in the bloodstream to burn glucose in your body.
Wow.
So when you cut out the carbs and you increase your fat, your body uses the fat to burn that fuel, to burn as fuel. And actually, fat is more effective, it's more reliable, it's more...
As a fuel source?
Yes, it's a more reliable energy source for your body. There's a lot of benefits to it, like it takes away like acne, like it helps weight loss, it helps stress, it helps anxiety. There's a lot of things it does, and it's amazing, and your concentration...
I have never seen you string this many number of sentences together with such proficiency, because you're usually clowning around.
Yes, so was the clown.
Yeah, absolutely proud of you. So when did you first realize this? Because you were also bullied by your peers growing up.
Yes.
What were they saying? What was going on when you were growing up?
It's hard to explain it. It's like my brain went blank. Like every time I try to remember my childhood, it's almost like my brain blacks out. Like it's like my brain is forcing myself not to remember what happened.
So those memories are filed far,
yeah, it's very deep in psychologically, but the ones I remember was very hurtful, especially when I was in primary school. I was bullied a lot. I was in tons of fights. I remember I won one fight though, so at least. But all the others, I always lost, and I was always laughed at. I remember this one time, I think it was grade 6, we were doing athletics, and I was doing hurdles, and I was always the person who always gets second or first in school. And then I remember this one time, I tripped over one of the hurdles, and I really I face planted into the ground, and the whole school was laughing at me, and I think that's where it started. Yeah. Yeah, all the eating.
So the eating started as a result of that?
Yes. I used it as a comfort. Yeah. Because I felt like worthless. I felt like I was a piece of trash, just laying there on the ground, couldn't even jump over one hurdle. So yeah.
And your family, talk to me about what was happening at home.
I think my parents knew what was happening, but they kind of just made me make my own decisions. Okay. And I always used to blame them. I always tell my parents, like, why did you not force me to do sports? Why did you not push me to do it?
Would you advise that? Because I think a lot of parents are in that situation. They watch their child gain and put on those extra kilos. Yes. And they can see maybe the result of the eyes, the society's eyes on their children, that judgmental look. Do you think parents should say, I'm signing you up for gym, I'm putting you on a diet?
I think actually if my parents did that, I probably wouldn't have a great relationship with them right now, because I believe as soon as someone tries to change your life drastically, you start putting up walls and you just want to be guarded. Yeah. So instead of them helping you out, they're just pushing you further away. Okay. So if the fact that I think they didn't force me to do anything kind of made me, I guess it was, it's vice versa. I guess if you look at it at both ways, it could have been different.
Absolutely. But, so what do you do now? Is it just about eating, right? Are you hitting the gym?
Yes, it's a bit of both. I started again. I was off keto for a couple of months, and then I'm back on it now because I'm doing it for one of my friends, also battling with weight. And I decided, because I remember I went to one of these events and this guy was like, you know what, all these people you see on these covers, because he asked me, what is your ideal weight? Like, what do you want to look like? I was like, I want to look like Men's Health. I want to look like that guy there on that cover. And he's like, don't chase that. Most of these people on these magazines, they design their bodies. They're not healthy. You think because they have that type of physique, they're healthy. And he just told me, don't chase after that, because these people in these magazines is not like telling us what it is. Like,
so for you, it's about being healthy.
Yes, it's about healthy and
the best you in this body that you can be.
Yes.
So do you go to these seminars? Do you use books? What tools are you incorporating with this journey?
I use YouTube a lot. YouTube helps a lot. It shows you people who were in the same mind space where you have been. There's actually...
So I was motivated to see you're not alone.
Yes, and then also one of the things, I don't know, maybe there is something like that, but I couldn't find something to read on to kind of share what I'm going through, because I feel like magazines and newspapers, it's great to lose the weight, but they don't understand that's the psychological thing, because if I look myself in the mirror, I still see that Merrick, because I've been seeing that body for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it's...
So you don't see what we see sitting in front of me right
now? It's a bit better. I remember when I lost most of the weight in December, when I went home for December, my aunt was making food, and she made me a sandwich, and I had a sandwich, and I remember everyone was sleeping. You know when the cousins come and everyone's like chilling on the floor?
Yeah.
So now I was literally sitting in my bed, and I was sitting there, and I was on my phone, and I was typing 10 things I hate about myself. And I started going at it. I was typing, I hate my face, I hate my bodies, I hate my man boobs, I hate my body so much. And I went to the bathroom and I just wept, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And then the next day, we were all sitting, it was almost Christmas, and everyone was laughing, and I just immediately just said it, I hate myself in front of the whole family. And everyone was like shocked, and they asked me like, what is going on? And I was like, I feel like I'm going into a deep space, and I feel like I might just end my life, because I feel like who's gonna love me? Like, is there someone out there for me who can love me? Because, yeah, it was very, very tough.
So it requires a lot of
but my family was
psychological work.
Yes,
wow.
My family was very supportive. They were like,
and congratulations for actually daring enough to go there. A lot of people wouldn't. You're daring to go there and to confront the demons inside.
Yes.
You know we're here for you. You know this team is here for you, Merrick. Yeah. So maybe we'll have like a catch up in a couple of months' time and see what Merrick, the kind of progress that he's made over the years. He certainly has all of us here. Well, post-weight loss procedures to make you look even more amazing. What about those? Is that an option for you? It can all be very confusing since there are just so many out there. Well, Dr. Azania will talk us through some of these procedures after the break. Back in a moment. Welcome back. Now that the unhealthy weight is gone, you might be considering some form of post-weight loss surgery or maybe an aesthetic procedure here and there. When it comes to the world of aesthetic medicine, Dr. Azania is a true game changer. He formed business relations with American plastic surgeon Dr. Robert Ray, popularly known as Dr. 90210. He currently runs his own practice in Johannesburg and continues to demonstrate that successful, safe and responsible aesthetic treatments are possible. Good evening, Dr. Mia.
Who is this you're talking about? He sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah, he definitely is. Expert, absolute expert.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So after losing weight, what are some of the common concerns that people come to you with?
Do you know, losing weight always comes with unforeseen side effects.
Yeah.
If you gain weight very quickly and lose weight very quickly, it's almost like nothing happened. If you're young and you have a lot of elastin in your skin, the skin goes back to where it was. It's the same with when you have a baby. When you're 20, tummy goes out here, the skin goes back. When you're 30, the skin goes down here. So if you gain weight and you keep it for a number of years, the longer you have that weight, the less likely it is that your skin will go back to where it was. And that's true for the tummy, boobs, neck, face. Arms, everywhere. And it's almost like it tends to hide the aging. So it masks the sagging. That's still going on. You're still losing your elastin, you're still sagging, the muscles are still pushing down onto your face and neck. But as you lose that volume, as you lose the fat, it starts to show and you see the sagging. And that's true, face, boobs, tummy.
Everywhere. And then when it comes to men and women, what are some of the concerning areas?
Well, obviously with men, if they do develop gynecomastia, which is the male breast, it's as a result, partly because of that excess fat, it's almost like they like to call it the third ovary in women. But in men, it can produce estrogen, and it can lead to the formation of actual glandular tissue.
Right.
So even though they lose the weight, they're left with lumps that need to be surgically removed if they don't resorb on their own.
Yes, and I imagine around the belly area as well, if they developed, if they carried the weight around the waist.
If they do, yeah. So weight loss is almost, if you have to imagine an orange, like a fruit. you're now making the fruit smaller.
Yeah.
But we have to get the skin tighter. So we do things like redermalization, small little injections in the shape of a star.
So that's a non-invasive procedure?
Yeah, non-invasive to minimally invasive.
Oh.
And that's tiny little injections to make elastin and collagen in the skin to tighten and lift. So that's true for face, neck, and body, different areas on the body. If we do have stubborn areas of fat, then we use things like, for example, a Cooltech, cryolipolysis, to kill those fat cells using freezing.
Is it like freezing them?
Exactly. And we alternate that with something called the Ceccarelli solution, which is small injections as well of an enzyme that breaks down the more stubborn fat cells.
And this can be done all over the body, like around the arm area, the tummy?
Wherever we find the fat.
Okay.
That's right. You know,
so this is where
yes.
there's excessive skin and that stubborn fat?
Exactly, yes. When we have too much excess skin, then we will refer the patients for surgery. Sometimes the only option is to remove the skin surgically. We don't want patients to go through unnecessary treatment. So over time, with experience, we're able to see now, you know, these patients are more likely to need to go to have the surgery, so we refer them early on. But when it's borderline, we give them the benefit of the doubt and we work on them to the point where they can see an improvement. Sometimes it's not about, oh, I need all the stretch marks gone. They just want to see a nice improvement so that if they go to the beach, people can't see from a distance. You know, when you get up close, you'll still see where the
where
stretch marks were. But, you know, at 1-2 meters, you don't see it anymore.
Wow. The role of DNA analysis, at what point and what is its purpose?
So DNA analysis gives us a lot of interesting information. So we like to do that quite early on, especially when patients come in asking us to help them to lose weight. Because the DNA analysis will tell us if they are sensitive to carbohydrates, fats, exactly what their body needs. I'm sure you've seen different diets work for some people and not for other people. And it's because it's different people. The DNA is different. Even the type of training, the time of day of training, when they should gym, what exercises, what types of prehab they should go through. This is different for everyone, and so that's what the DNA analysis can tell us. Yeah, things like yoga, stretching, looking after your body so that you don't injure yourself. There's nothing more demotivating when it comes to a training program than hurting yourself and having to have to stop. So
this is literally from start to finish?
Oh, exactly. But it's just a simple cheek swab. And it then even tells you what your skin is likely to respond with. So we can see this patient will have more elastin damage, more density loss in the skin. And so we know even while they're busy losing the weight, we can start doing things like botulinum toxin to stop the sagging. We can start working on adding density to that skin. So as they lose the weight, they get the retraction at the same time.
So you walk the person right through the process?
We like to look after them holistically. You know? Aesthetic medicine started with botulinum toxin for fine lines. And from there, it just grew to hair and body and souls and energies. And, you know, it's just, we look after everybody top to bottom. At our practice, we've got physiotherapists who look after the injuries. And we really do cater for people from top to bottom now.
How much does this cost? Because some of these therapies require more than one treatment.
They do. But if you had to think about a surgical intervention, you're looking at a fraction of the cost. So maybe a fifth to a tenth of what you would pay for surgical work.
Okay, right. Because now I'm thinking liposuction, if I was to go under the knife, the costs are much cheaper here. The
costs are cheaper, the risks are lower. You must remember with liposuction, there's a 3% death rate. So that's death, you know, and that's very fine.
So coming back to try something else.
So definitely, like I say, if people do need to have surgery, we do refer them. But we do first try to remove the need or delay the need for surgery because of these risks.
Absolutely. So many new insights that I didn't know. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, wow. So much is possible. So many things are possible. So whatever the goal, my guests tonight have shown us that it is absolutely achievable once the mind is set and ready. Remember to always consult with your healthcare practitioner before you embark on any weight loss or exercise program. I think the doctor was quite clear in emphasizing that. I want to say thank you to all of my guests. They've shared so many inspiring stories with us, and now they live happier, fitter, and healthier lives. And I think we all deserve it. From all of us at Real Talk, have a splendid evening. Good night.
Real Talk is proudly sponsored by Huawei P20 Pro and MTN.
Each week for 10 weeks, we're giving away the latest Huawei P20 Pro and 10 gigabytes once-off MTN data to 10 amazing storytellers. All you have to do is share your special moments with us. Follow at Huawei ZA and at MTN ZA and tag us with hashtag Huawei P20 and hashtag Real Talk Moments. We want to see and hear your stories and create lasting connections across the country. Each week there's a different theme, so keep checking our social pages for details and you could be a winner.